Yes, everyone, welcome back to another live show here on FUTV United TV. Sunday evening, before the final between PSG and Chelsea, let's get through all of the Manchester United news so you can settle down and get comfy for the game. Welcome along, everybody. Get your comments in the comment section. We're talking Bryan Mbeumo, that last offer from Manchester United and what it means this week. We touched on it earlier on, a bit more detail on this show tonight on that one. Updates on Marcus Rashford as well. Bidding war for Antony. I touched on the news of Richard Rios as well earlier on. If you haven't seen that video, we'll touch on that also in this show. Serious update on Manchester United's goalkeeping department involving 4 goalkeepers and news on different parts of what could possibly happen going into this summer, and an interesting little side subplot in terms of an old Manchester United goalkeeper that could actually open up an avenue for bringing in, I think, a much improved keeper for Manchester United. I'll talk about that as well and get your thoughts on it. Get all your comments in, please, everybody, on all of these subjects. We're going to start with Bryan Mbeumo. The news came out earlier on today from Damashek from Sky. It was off the back of what we were saying this morning. Deals are going to be completed soon was pretty much the show this morning, and this was around Rashford, Sancho and obviously Bryan Mbeumo, but everyone's pushing on the Bryan Mbeumo. From what Fabrizio Romano said in his video last night, he said it again today actually, in terms of Manchester United and where they're at. Damashek from Sky was talking earlier on as well, off the back of that and what everyone else has said. I think they go off the strength of what Romano has actually said. So now, according to Sky, there is one source saying that the bid will be in and in this week. It's not even a bid, it's just Manchester United continuing their talks, like we said this morning, over Bryan Mbeumo. But what it is the final offer from Manchester United. It's not even a final offer in a way. It's Sir Jim Ratcliffe, like we said before, I think 2 nights ago, in fact, when we said that Sir Jim Ratcliffe's not going to pay any more. That's where we're at with this one. But Bryan Mbeumo is expected back at Brentford tomorrow. Manchester United in a position now, and even Pete Hall, who is a journalist who follows Manchester United everywhere, has come out and said Manchester United are expecting and are planning for Bryan Mbeumo to be on the US tour this summer. So it has to happen this week. Pretty much like we said this morning, it is the final stage of this deal. And the only reason I've put this at the top of the show today is that it is actually coming to an end, one way or the other, this week. This Bryan Mbeumo saga looks like it's now on its last legs, and it looks like, from what everybody has now said, so I've gone off what Romano said this morning, and Sky have jumped in. Everybody's saying exactly the same thing now, and when this happens, it usually means like it's coming to a head and it's all about to end with a big bang, and that hopefully is a bang to celebrate Bryan Mbeumo being United's second significant signing of the summer. And it will be massive for Manchester United, because once that deal is done, it's the catalyst for everything else to move forward in this window. Whether or not getting Bryan Mbeumo done sooner would have got any of the other deals done any quicker, i.e. the players that we need to get out, I'm not so sure, because United are still negotiating, even while we're dealing with Bryan Mbeumo, for players to leave the club. We've covered it in depth regarding Sancho, regarding Garnacho, and obviously Marcus Rashford, and Antony, in fact, who we'll be talking about on this show as well, and a development on his side of things. So I think what it is I look at what other journalists are saying this evening, which is Manchester United still looking for a midfielder and a striker after Bryan Mbeumo signs. And Bryan Mbeumo's deal is a side of any sales. So anybody thinking that's just because we've got that money in from Elanga, from Alvaro Fernandez, from obviously Sancho, from Odiele, any of that 21 million Manchester United have raised from other player sales or sell-ons, is aside from this Bryan Mbeumo deal, because, like I said before, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Manchester United, Inos, new management team, however you want to describe them, they are not going any more in terms of financials, putting any more money into this deal. It is the structure of the deal, and only the structure of the deal, that is changing right now. So everything aside that United have made is going into the kitty for a player after Bryan Mbeumo. That's what's been said by the journalist today. Now, I was in the thinking that it was 30 million for Liam Delap. So I'm not going to say one thing and then completely change what I've said before. I do think that there is some part of what United have done that is going into the Mbeumo deal. They're just not telling us personally, because Liam Delap was lined up for 30 million. How much Manchester United had above 30, because let's say Bryan Mbeumo is double the value of Liam Delap, who was going to be the signing. I don't know where we would even be in a Delap saga if we'd have signed Liam Delap. I don't even know if Man United would have been going for Bryan Mbeumo at this stage. So we might not have even been having any sagas regarding for this transfer window. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see with what they're saying and what the reports are saying. Manchester United don't need any extra money from Bryan Mbeumo. I think it's already been counted for, to be honest, because it's double the price of what Liam Delap was. So yeah, we'll see if that comes about when the window actually finishes and how much Manchester United did use and what the financials actually say afterwards. So again, with this, we know that Manchester United had about 140 million to work with PSR. That's overdrawn. So we're not making much money. So we're not looking at profit here off spare cash. We had a bit of spare cash in our finances from the financial year ending, but again, the 140 million that United could spend was PSR based, so we could go overdrawn by 140 million is what was being said. So that, I think, has been covered by the Mbeumo and Cunha deal when Mbeumo is finalised, and then it's just bringing that down with every sale that we make. So you could say it's what, at the moment, you're looking at 125 million for Bryan Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha. You took another 21 million off that with sales from Sellons and the fee for Jadon Sancho already, 21 million. So you're bringing that down to just over 100 million. And then you're into the realms of your Antony, Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho sales to bring that down even more. And then obviously United will need to make another signing. Whether it's a loan, whether it's a free agent, we know that we now need a striker and a midfielder, according to all of the journalists out there at the moment who are reporting on what's happening this window. So that's where we're at with Bryan Mbeumo and that saga. There isn't much else to talk about. It is exactly the same as it was this morning, except more and more reports coming out joining into what Fabrizio said. And like I said, just to round off Bryan Mbeumo now, is that when everyone is all on the same page, and it's not Romano completely contradicting another journalist or saying that that isn't the point or isn't the truth in what's happening, it usually means that everyone on the same page means deal happening, and it's coming. I think it is going to be this week. I think Bryan Mbeumo will turn back up at Brentford. I'm fully expecting a Manchester United fan meltdown because the deal hasn't been finalised and he's back at Brentford. There will be plenty of people making a big scene and a song and dance about that. I'm not really bothered as long as we get the deal done. So realistically, what do we need to happen? Well, we just need Bryan Mbeumo for the tour. That's what United want, that's what everyone's reporting, and that's what everyone expects this week. If it doesn't happen, it's probably because Brentford have told United where to go, and United have probably gone there, and that being walking away from the deal. Because we know at this point, United are probably not going to bid any more money. Otherwise, it would have already been done. We are what? Like I said before, like even when you look at the last bid that went in, Manchester United are what now, nearly 2 weeks from that bid. So if there was more money going in, it would have already gone in and the deal would have been sorted, but it's not the case. Moving on swiftly, keep your comments flying in, everybody, as well. I'll come to them all as we get through the top headlines. But also in the reports today was on Marcus Rashford and an expected bid from Barcelona. This was talked about by Sky before, but it is now looking likely, and Florian Plettenberg has come and weighed in on the Marcus Rashford situation this afternoon. So we know what Fabrizio Romano said. Barca have still not made their mind up which way they're going. They know the conditions of Marcus Rashford, and that is 41 million apparently that Manchester United want for a sale. Barcelona, and I'm going off what everyone is saying here now, are not going to buy Marcus Rashford. This is where this is going to get complicated, and I don't think will be resolved anytime soon. It would be nice just to see Barcelona make an initial move so we know that this is now moving along. I just don't see it happening at the moment in terms of anything significant that's going to make Manchester United say, yes, this deal's happening. By that I mean, the Plettenberg has said, and Sky Sports have said today, although Sky would back up whatever Florian Plettenberg said because they're both Sky, it's Sky Germany and Sky Sports. So anything that Sky come out with is usually off the back of what Florian Plettenberg says. I don't know if you've noticed that before, but yeah, that's that source that Damashek was saying in terms of the deal. So yeah, not Bryan Mbeumo, sorry, Marcus Rashford. Plettenberg says Barcelona are interested and are in talks with Manchester United, or will be in talks soon. They're in discussions at the moment how to approach the actual move for Marcus Rashford. It is only going to be a loan move for Marcus Rashford, and that is it. They're not going to go and buy Marcus Rashford. And remember when we did that story the other night when we said that Manchester United, according to Ben Jacobs, are just going to tell Barcelona it's 40 million or nothing because you were ready to pay 58 million for Nico Williams. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Barcelona are in any fit state to actually buy a player right now. I think that was proven just with their registration issue that they've actually got at the football club. So again, I think it will be a loan for Marcus Rashford. So Manchester United's stance on this, like we said this morning, is a loan with a condition at the end for a sale condition. So an obligation to buy Marcus Rashford. Again, I don't see Barcelona agreeing to this. I don't see Barcelona actually wanting to make this happen. It's one of them deals that you would say, right now, with where Marcus Rashford's head is at, he's going to push forward. But I did say this morning. Would Marcus Rashford move? Would he pivot? Would he look at another football club if he knew that Barcelona were just going to use him for a year? And I mentioned the dream move that's always talked about as well this morning. And I just don't think Marcus Rashford, like people must be smart enough to think that he isn't going to be a permanent fixture going forward for Barcelona. I think he struggles to get in the team this year, and then past that, Barcelona are only looking to loan him, so they're not going to give him anything else past that. And maybe they're thinking that Marcus Rashford could play at Barcelona, get into the England squad, and then after next season, it's open season for anyone else coming in and looking at Marcus Rashford potentially. But at the moment, with what Plettenberg said and what Romano has said, and what anyone significant has said around Marcus Rashford, it's pushing towards the loan only. And this dream of Manchester United bringing in that 41 million that we spoke about this morning seems a long, long distance away. And again, a reality check for where United are actually at right now. No one's going to take a risk on a player on that amount of money, wage-wise, without seeing what he's worth. Now, maybe United could negotiate some condition in there for Barcelona to buy him, but Barca are still going to want their own stipulations and conditions in this loan deal. By that I mean they're going to want Marcus Rashford to perform to a certain level, first of all, before that triggered before that triggered buyout is actually there, and that obligation to buy him comes in at the end of his time at the club next season, hopefully. That, I think, will be a definite in there. And even then, I'm still not convinced that Barcelona would want to buy Marcus Rashford. They just don't seem to be able to put the finances together to make deals happen these days. And we've spoke about this before. Their club credit has gone up now. It's not where it was before. Obviously, they'll have the new camp back again, and revenues can start to roll in again for them. Very comfortable where they're at. There's reportedly an extension and a new contract for Frankie de Jong on the table as well. And so when you look at Barcelona and the players that they're supposedly moving out to bring other players in, there isn't much movement. They haven't got a lot of room financially, and it is going to be a loan. I don't know if Man United are going to be open to it. Will Man United be forced into this loan by the end of the window finishing? I don't know. But one thing that came out today from Sky as well, from Plettenberg and from Damashev from Sky Sports, was that Manchester United are expecting an offer, which will be a loan offer from Barcelona. In that, it is reported that there will be a loan fee and a good chunk of Marcus Rashford's wages covered. It's over to United, I think, from this point. And if Barcelona do show their hand, it's in full knowledge, like we said this morning, of them knowing what Manchester United want from this. So they know what United want. They're going to go in with their first offer. I think they'll know what they want for a loan. I think they'll know what Man United want for a sale as well. It's going to be interesting to see where Barcelona fit in terms of how close they are to what Manchester United want. So that's the next stage of the Marcus Rashford situation right now, and that's going to be something that, again, might actually move forward this week one way or the other. So we'll keep our eyes on that. But everyone is sort of all on the same page again. So that's Bryan Mbeumo and Marcus Rashford, all of the journalists saying exactly the same thing. like I said before, for the Mbeumo situation, it usually means one thing is going to happen, a result either way. So let's see. Big week coming for Manchester United. Massive week coming for Manchester United, in fact. Loads of people in the chat coming in. Thank you, everybody, for all of your comments so far. We're going to move into the chat on them opening two stories now. So please do keep your comments flying in. Quick super chat from Andreas, first of all, says, Brentford don't want to sell Mbeumo. Bad feeling. No, they know they have to sell Mbeumo. And the difference with this, Andreas, and I don't want you to be not feeling confident that this is going to happen. Bryan Mbeumo will not sign a new contract at Brentford. They know they have to sell him. They're just playing hardball. They are going to sell Bryan Mbeumo, mate. It's as simple as that. They can talk all they want about him staying, but it's going to devalue him, and he isn't going to sign a new deal. They're going to run the risk of him not actually making anything for him at the moment. This is the time now. The maximum money they can get for Mbeumo is now. There's only one bidder in that's getting anywhere near what they want, and that's Man United. And he doesn't want to move anywhere else. So, Andreas, don't worry, my friend. He is still going to be a Manchester United player unless United say, no, that's it. You're stupid, and we're not going to go anywhere near what you want. They're already there, though. That's the thing, and that's why you know that this is probably going to happen. And like Pete Hall said earlier on as well, Manchester United are pretty much there with the offer for Mbeumo, and it is a matter of time. And that does look like it is going to be this week. Rashford, I don't think will be this week, personally. Just my opinion. We may get an update, and we may get a first offer from Barca, but this is very, very early in terms of negotiations for Marcus Rashford. So, yeah, nothing to really say concrete-wise on Rashford right now, but looks like we are going to get the next episode when it comes to this transfer situation anyway. Wayne the Red said Rashford is delusional if he thinks that he is going to play in the World Cup. He's done nothing of merit on the football pitch in 18 months. Apparently did enough for Tuchel in March, though, when he went and played the two friendlies and started both games, mate. So maybe what he did for Aston Villa was enough for Thomas Tuchel. I don't know. I'm not picking that England team. If I'm picking that England team, Rashford's way behind a lot of other players, definitely, who are all playing in the Premier League as well. So, again, it's up to him. We've said this and we've had this conversation so many times before, though. If he stayed at Villa, I think he goes to the World Cup. But he thinks he's good enough for Barcelona. I also did say earlier on, I think Rashford will score goals at Barcelona because there are gimme games in that league. And they're a perfect game for Marcus Rashford to come in and rest the likes of Lewandowski or a Rafinha on that left-hand side. That's how I see it working if he goes to Barca. He will be the bit part, the fill-in when it comes to them gimme games. That's how I see it happening. If United keep coming back to the table for Mbeumo, then Brentford will look for more and more. They're not coming back to the table, Pete. Don't worry about it, mate. The price is the same. They're not going to up it. It's just the structure of the deal. I keep saying this to everybody. It's not happening in terms of more money going in. There will be more money going down, and then the rest of it in add-ons, or the add-ons will change one way or the other. That's how this deal moves forward, and I think Brentford know it as well. Andrew says, how can Barca be prepared to spend 60 plus million on Nico or Diaz and can only do a loan for Rashford? You just described it. Rashford. They're not willing to take a risk on a player that a football club doesn't want. And we've said this before. This is where United are going to have to take their medicine, because you've got a player here that Manchester United don't want, and any club bidding is going to take advantage of that. Diaz is a performer for Liverpool. So too is Nico Williams for Bilbao, playing week in, week out for their clubs and being a success in very, very successful seasons for both of them clubs. That's why they're worth more. Marcus Rashford is in a squad of Manchester United players that finished 15th, in which he was not wanted. You could look at that and say, well, if he was in there, it might have been better. But let's be honest, the demise was coming with Rashford in the side anyway. So if you're in that position as a selling club, you've got to expect buying clubs to come in and lowball you because they know that you don't want the player. If he is a prize asset, like Nico Williams, like Luis Diaz, you've got to go more. every player at Manchester United right now, barring Bruno Fernandes, isn't worth anything to anybody. And you could actually ask, you could say that maybe like the newer players, like the Euros of this world, Ahmad's, I know he's not a new player, but you know what I mean, like the younger players coming through, they might be worth a bit more. But in terms of Manchester United players that we could sell, or that other clubs would be looking at as a potential transfer at this window, having them players not sign new contracts like Euro, like Ahmad, there's only Bruno Fernandes worth any money. No other player in Man United's squad who is into a new deal, who is into a contract right now, our contract is almost halfway through. There's no one there. Like, who is worth any money at Manchester United? Nobody's looking for United players. United are trying to sell them. That's the difference. And when it's that case, you don't get as much money. That's where it's like when you go to a car boot sale, you're going to a sale where people are selling things they don't want. That's where United are at. We're in a car boot sale, and everyone else is on the high street. You're going to have to go out and spend a lot of money to get the best of the best. But the hand-me-downs and the not wanted section, well, yeah, that's where United are at, unfortunately. Manchester United do want a striker, do want a midfielder. Richard Rios, I said it earlier on today. The news came out, the video is up there, all the detail on Richard Rios. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this video because we've done it already in the earlier show, which was Italian reports saying that Manchester United are looking now to scupper, hijack, gazump the deal that Roma have got in place, or not in place, but are bidding. Like, they are way off the mark when it comes to what Palmeiras want, and United are now in. That's according to Italian reports. I did say in that video earlier on as well, with all the details, so go watch it after this show's finished, that obviously this is from the Italian side of things, so we're waiting for someone big to knock this down, which hasn't happened yet, which is interesting. So maybe we will get that update later tonight, tomorrow, maybe, possibly. I don't think anything's going to come out tonight because it's the Club World Cup and all of the journalistic world will be watching that and getting all of the reports from the game over in America. So I don't see any more news tonight, but tomorrow could be big for us. So let's see what happens and develops overnight for the news there. But yeah, that was the story that came out earlier on. We know that Manchester United want a striker and a midfielder after the Bryan Mbeumo deal is done. Richard Rios could be that player for Manchester United, according to Italian reports right now. So that was the news that came out today. Regarding other midfield targets for United, I've said this before, obviously now Everton and West Ham are both looking at Douglas Luiz, who is desperate to come back to the Premier League. So Man United's midfield options drifting away. Rios was one that we thought was drifting away, but then we heard that news today. So that could be a development going forward, the Rios one. So very interesting. We will keep an eye on that definitely. Thanks, says Andreas. Thanks, Adam. Sorry. Our players are all problematic equals low value. Definitely, mate. Unfortunately, this is what we're trying to change. Like going into the future with the players that we've got now. So you're looking at the Ahmad, you're looking at the Euros, De Ligt, Mazraouis. You're looking at obviously the new players coming in. Then you've got Kobe Mainu. You've got the likes of Manuel Ugarte. These are going to be players for United that are probably worth a lot more money going into the future. So if we get clubs coming in for our players, our good players, then expect them offers to be a lot higher. But obviously United are in the rebuild situation right now. And we're trying to get ourselves into a position where we have got good first team players that are contributing to the first team. And if anyone wants to come in for them, they're going to have to pay very, very high prices to get them. That's the difference right now. Don't forget, we have just cut 8 first team squad players out of this pre-season. 3 that have left and 5 that have been told where to go. One of them is Antony. Now, there is a report going around on Antony, which may look like a bit of a bidding war developing regarding the situation that's going around with him. So just to let you know on this where this has come from and what the report is. Now we know about Betis obviously already, but there is more reports coming out, and these A few South American reports on this as well, Portuguese also, but Bayer Leverkusen are in talks with Manchester United apparently to sign Antony. Besides Leverkusen, Real Betis, who we know about already, wants him back after a successful loan. They can go do one. Honestly, they're embarrassing right now, Betis. But I have said all along, with the Antony situation and Betis, are we going to see other teams come to the table? I think we might be seeing this now, because this report also says two other major clubs, one in Italy and another in Germany, are also interested in signing Antony. Now, Leverkusen and one other German club, another Italian club, and obviously Real Betis. I think there are other clubs in Spain that are also interested in Antony also. So this, I think, is going to be a very interesting one now. This is what I've been waiting to hear regarding Antony. Who else is actually in for him? It cannot just be, after that season, Real Betis. Surely it's not just them that are bidding for Antony. There's got to be someone else in looking at him. I know Juventus were interested. That might be the Italian club. Who's the other German club? Dortmund, after losing Gittins. I'm putting two and two together here with that. Obviously, you could look at Bayern Munich. They might be interested in him. It's a far cry, I know, but is he good enough for them? In the German league, he'd probably do all right, Antony. If Leverkusen are after him, then why wouldn't Bayern Munich be after him after losing two of their forwards in Musiala and Sané this summer? Musiala obviously only on injury basis, but that is a horrendous injury that he got. So, yeah, long time out for him, and obviously maybe they're looking for someone else to step in. So Antony's situation is starting to develop also with other clubs. Finally, for God's sake, he's taken an age for anyone else to actually look like they're interested in him, because I'm sick to death of hearing about Real Betis coming in with another offer for Antony and talking to Manchester United. They've spent up. The money that they've got and the players that they've sold, they've spent it on other players. They're an absolute joke. We need to move past it. How many times have I said this and been wound up talking about it? You've all been there on the shows. And I've said every time, surely there's going to be someone that comes in and offers money for Antony. There's got to be another club somewhere. Apparently, we're about to find out. Hopefully that does happen on that one. Rios suggests that they've tried for Edison and failed. I don't know. It's like, you look at the situation money-wise, they might be thinking, Rios helps us go and buy another striker, Ant. That was a super chat from Ant there, suggesting that United are in for Rios because they've been knocked back for Edison. I could get that comment, but I could also look at the fact that maybe they're looking at a better striker when it comes to the midfielder and striker that everyone's talking about Manchester United getting. So we could be looking at saving as much money as we can with a midfielder, and Rios does that. 30 million euros, it's about, what, 25 million quid? That's a cheap midfielder, considering that you're going to have to pay double that to get Edison in. Rios, yes, no experience, but then again, Edison hasn't got experience, and Rios is half the price at a younger age. You've got to look at it that way, and I think Man United might be looking at it that way. But we will see, won't we? We will see. Zane is in the chat with a super chat. Something must have happened with Arsenal. You must be excited for Jackson-Højlund partnership. Zane, come on, mate. Even you know, and you are more educated than this, you absolute balloon brain. United haven't got money to spend on a striker like that. It's embarrassing that Chelsea are asking for 60 million. But Zane, come on, mate. Give your head a bit of a wobble, son. Thanks for the super chat, but you've got to come at us with better than that, mate. You've got to do a bit more research, my friend. Go get yourself a drink. Have you had too much sun? You might have. It's been warm over there, hasn't it, in England this week? So everyone, just make sure that Zane's okay in the chat, everyone. Leave your comments in the live section for him. I think he's struggling there by the sounds of it. But I just need to double check. Has there been anything that's happened with Victor Gyökeres? Let's just check with Ornstein right now. It looks like there has been a development just in. Arsenal set to complete the signing of Victor Gyökeres, according to David Ornstein. Damn it. That makes my have a go at Zayn there kind of laughable a little bit, because he has got that as a comeback. But still, we're not going to buy Jackson, mate. So that's one for you and one for me. Let's just call it a draw. But you do need to go and give your head a wobble, Son, soon as well. So you do need to go and give your head a wobble, my friend, as well. God, I don't think I've been drinking. I had a poolside all day. My God. Anyway, more chats coming in. Let's see what we've got here. Alan says, frustrated how we used to be that big force. Not anywhere near that stands for a number of years now. So when we get rejected for players, we need to get the Jacksons in this day and age until we're great again. In terms of that, Alan, mate, do you really think that Nicholas Jackson is the type of player Manchester United should be buying right now for 60 million? Now, I can understand your comment about Jackson, yes, quality-wise, players on that level, but United ain't spending 60 million on that guy. I'm telling you now. I think with Rios, we might have waited for another club to start the bidding and then go just above. I'd be happy with that, Liam. Honestly, I think that's sensible. Something that United have had done to them numerous times in the past. It's about time we flipped that and actually started doing it ourselves, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm hoping that United have done that, to be honest, because that would mean that United are learning. And this management team, this recruitment team, are actually looking at what really goes down in windows. Look what Chelsea do. This is what Chelsea do to everyone. And they have been the masters of this in just waiting, testing, just seeing. But it does look like, regarding the Gyökeres situation, at least that one can be put to bed now for good. It does look like Arsenal have met what Sporting want, though, by the sounds of it. And Mikel Arteta is finally going to buy a striker. So, yes, good for Zayn anyway. He is a good contributor on the show, if anything. And he's a happy man tonight because he's got his striker in. Completely off the mark with Jackson, though, anyway. All right, more comments. Tywin says, you also said at some point Gyökeres will be a United player for sure. Am I paraphrasing to be fair? But yeah, did I say that Gyökeres would be a Man United player? I think you need to watch some more shows, mate. I said it would be great if it happened, but we covered it as everybody else did. So yes, if you're having a go, Tywin, again, like I say to everyone who tries to, and apologies if you're not, so I'm just going off what you've written there, come back with some better context, mate. You got to do so much more. Man United is the worst. Man United is worse than a bad soap opera, says Demo. Thanks for renewing the membership, mate. 1 month away from the gold, so credit to you, my friend. Soap opera, yeah, probably. It's probably the most popular one as well, because everybody wants to know about it. But as long as we get what we want at the end of it, and the final episode is Manchester United signing players, mate, then I'm happy. I'm happy. But again, we do have to hope that this might be one of the last windows where we're scraping around with no money. For that, we have to be in the Champions League next season, though, and that is a big ask. And Mbeumo will get us there, or help get us there. We are going to have to get that striker and the midfielder to get that, though. But if Mbeumo comes in and then you get Rios, there's 3. And then could we move players on and move players around? Let's not forget, Manchester United, if we don't need to, going back to something quickly on this, while everyone's been talking about Rios, something just popped into my head. If United don't need money, which Pete Hall has said, to get Mbeumo done, no sales, I mean by that, the money was already there, which I described at the start of the show. Just flip back again if you want to get the detail on that later on. But if they don't need the money, then maybe what we've made from the sales of Sancho's penalty fee, the money from Alanga, the money from Alvaro Fernandez, the money from Modiele, goes in quite close to what Palmeiras want for Richard Rios. I'm just saying it. Money might have been made that's enough to get that deal over the line. Cheap wages, very cheap wages, and a deal that Manchester United can get done easily, I think. So let's see if that develops from that point there as well. Ian says, oh, no, Ian doesn't say because you just jumped off my screen, mates. Come back to me, Ian. Where are you? There you are. Still plenty of time for Arteta to change his mind and sign another midfielder. Yeah, there is. But I think he's done. I think he's finally taken the plunge. Let's see. Slices says, Matteo Retegui, Sesko, Keane, Anderson. I'm not sure what you're talking about there, mate. Vitegwe's gone to Saudi Arabia anyway. I don't know if you missed that news, mate. Sesko, let's just see what happens by the end of the window. Keane Anderson, not sure, mate. Not sure what you're getting at with that one, mate. Come back again with another one. Insane Gamer says the problem is that we are signing players for the wrong profiles. Rios would be perfect in an 8 role, but Bruno's there, and we went Mbeumo. We need a 6 like, is that supposed to say Agate? Gotchua, I think, or Hackney, I think he's saying there. Honestly, I think Bruno is going to be potential. When you look at this, if United go for a midfielder, I think Rios will be the 8 that United bring in. But let's not forget, also in this, there is a ever-changing formation and system for Ruben Amorim. You could always see Bruno being pushed further forward. You could always see Bruno being utilised as a false 9 at some point. I know that isn't the style of Ruben Amorim, but he could do. You could see Cunha in at the 9 and Bruno playing as a 10. You could see Mbeumo in at the 9 and Bruno playing as a 10 and Rios stepping in. Let's not forget, we're buying players here that are going to be replacing the likes of Casemiro as well. So let's not forget that. By the way, everybody, thank you already for all of the likes that are in on the show. Loving that. Loads of them already, nearly at the 500 mark, which is epic. Thank you again, everyone. Love that. Please pop a like on the video if you haven't already. We did pass 90,000 subscribers this morning, so massive thank you again to everyone who has subscribed. Please do if you haven't already. Would love that to get that up even more. We wanted 90k before the start of the season. I set a target. And we're about a month ahead, which is ridiculous. The channel is going great guns right now because of everybody who tunes in and watches. So thank you again on that one. Before we move on to the next subject, which is the goalkeeping side of things, thank you, Nick, again. Another super chat in there. All I see on X is negativity with Inos. Most of our failings are on the Glazers. High wages are an issue because of them, meaning sales aren't easy. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, mate. I have been banging that drum and everyone knows it. And look, people still won't agree with me on what I say. They'll still push their Ineos are not right for United. All I say in that is you might be right that Ineos are not right for United, but do we not need to give them a little bit of time to get their feet in and their system working before we really judge them? It's all I've said. And yeah, I look at what the problems are at Manchester United right now. It's nothing that Ineos have caused when it comes to the transfer window, is it? Everyone's moaning about the transfer window. How much of that was Ineos' fault? Not a lot, because the issues we've got are the problems that were there before. I've said it so many times, but thanks for that super chat, Nick. Well said, my friend. Well said. By the way, I haven't talked about them that much. Big thank you out to OK Jerseys as well, who is funding a training kit for the women's team that I run as well. So massive shout out to them for doing that. So the link to some training kits and stuff is in there in the live chat as well, everybody. So cheers to them again for doing that for us. So massive shout out to them. I said I'd give them a big shout for doing that. So thank you to them. If Brentford are taking the piss and wanting all fixed fee up front, then they are being unrealistic. Most big deals are instalments also. Yeah, it will be instalments, but the conversation isn't about it all being paid up front. It's how much is guaranteed from the instalments that's being discussed. So United might put 60 million down. That will be in instalments over a certain amount of years. That's been negotiated. It's the rest, the add-ons, and how easy the add-ons are to get. Brentford taking their pound of flesh out of Man United. That's all it is, mate. Anyway, moving on to the other stories that are floating around. Big developments within the goalkeeping situation at Manchester United right now. So just to be clear, first of all, what we've got. We know that Andre Onana is out. And he's going to be replaced by Vitek on the tour. Pete Hall, like I said, who is close to Manchester United, has come out today and said Vitek will get his opportunity in between the sticks on the US tour for Manchester United. So expect to see him. So Onana out, Vitek in. Altay Bayindir's agent has been into Carrington discussing the exit. So the report from him on Bayindir is Altay Bayindir's agent has been at Carrington this week for talks regarding his client's future at Manchester United. So it looks like that's been pushed forward and is being negotiated also. But here's one as well for you all. Remember Kovar, the other goalkeeper that went to Bayer Leverkusen, had a good season at Leverkusen. So Matej Kovar is apparently, for Manchester United, a €7 million option. So Florian Plettenberg has come out today and said that Manchester United has an option to match a €7 million offer to re-sign Matej Kovar from Bayer Leverkusen. So United can buy Kovar back cheaper than what John Victor is. Do we go back again? Is it embarrassing for Manchester United to go back and buy Kovar after we let him go to Bayer Leverkusen in the first place? €7 million is not a lot of money for an experienced league-winning goalkeeper in Kovar. Now that is something I think Manchester United should at least consider. I didn't know about this clause. I'm going to be honest. I didn't know until Florian Plettenberg talked about it today. So there's another option for you there. You've got Vitek, you've got Kovar, you've got John Victor. We've got a lot of goalkeepers that are very, very cheap. So the rumours that are going around about Emi Martinez, 2 day, Diogo Costa, 2 day. Donnarumma, and that story, Donnarumma's story came out this morning simply because Manchester United's goalkeeper Andre Nana's injured. That's the only reason. Someone chanced around by throwing a story out that wasn't even real. United, yeah, we would be interested in Donnarumma. But again, let's be real. Let's put that into the bracket of Osimhen and Rodrigo. Never going to happen because United haven't got the money. Kovar for €7 million. Rios for £25 million. John Victor for, $8 million. Free transfers, loans. This is where United are operating after Bryan Mbeumo is done. So that, I think, is what we need to look at and concentrate on a little bit more, rather than the stupid stories that are circulating at the moment, which with all of these idiot players. But yeah, I've seen a lot of videos going around of them on social media of Andre Nana playing on them muddy, let's just say, death trap pitches over in Cameroon well on pre-season, and a lot of people blaming that for the injury as well. Honestly, you know I don't like Andre Nana as a keeper, but he came back to training fine. Something's happened while he has been training. He's obviously maybe not done as much work as the other players in pre-season, in preparation and conditioning. I don't know. He's picked up the hamstring injury in training. Honestly, I'm not going to use what he was doing in the summer as an excuse to have a go at him. He doesn't need that from me. He already does enough to wind me up. And him having a bit of a kick around with his old mates or whatever it was over in Cameroon in the summer, I really don't give a shit, to be honest. I don't care what he was doing. It's his pre-season. He has been told by the football club to get himself ready. He's got his programme from Ruben Amorim, and he's obviously not been as good with it as the other players by the looks of it. And now he's got a big layoff and someone else might take his place. It's his fault, end of the day. I'm not really bothered because I don't want him in between the sticks, is the honest answer to that. But hey, look, that's where we're at. Bayindir, if not great to be fair, I'd put Heaton in goal ahead of him. Yeah, I think a lot of people weren't convinced by Bayindir either last season. Greg says, no point putting the clause in if we aren't going to use it if we want. Not asked about what it looks like, bothered about the ball going in the back of the net after a parry. On the Kovar situation Greg is talking about there. Would you bring Kovar back, everybody? Would you go for it? I'd say he's a good goalkeeper. He's a very good goalkeeper. And proved his worth to Leverkusen over the last few seasons. 100%. 100% been good for them anyway. But we'll see what happens. Bud says, yeah, a large gust of a wind that knocked him off balance. Little queen. He's just gone injured. I'm not going to read all of that one out. He's just gone injured because he don't want to be sold the sausage. Nicking my line there. Thomas Mercado with a super chat says that we're a Poundland club now. Well, not if you look at Cunha and obviously Mbeumo. If we pull them off, it's not Poundland. That's good deals for Man United anyway, isn't it? But look, that pretty much wraps up our show this evening. My last night here in Greece, so I'm going to go out now, have a couple of drinks with Kaz. Kaz says hello, everybody, by the way. So please drop your likes in on the video when it finishes, or even now, please. Let's get it up to 600 live likes. Thank you, everybody who has been a part of the show there as well. Comments, super chats, mods, fantastic job as usual. I will see you in the morning. In terms of the content in the morning, because I am leaving tomorrow, you will see I'll put it together and I'll update you on everything first thing in the morning as usual. And then it's back to the studio, and I'm hoping to start a massive week for Manchester United going off the news. Football starts next weekend, and we're back on the pitch again. So that's something to look forward to at least. Get your comments in on everything that we spoke about in the show, everybody. Have a great evening, whatever you're up to, and I'll